It is 11:33. You are listening to the Mid-Morning Talk on Slam Media with me, Mari Mukwanda. So the 8th of June, which was yesterday, marked World Oceans Day. And today we're going to be finding out what we can do to conserve the ocean, how we can play our part, and what is the importance of such a day. The ocean covers over 70% of the planet. It is our life source, supporting humanity's sustenance and that of every other organism on Earth. With 90% of big fish populations depleted and 50% of coral reefs destroyed, we are taking more from the ocean than can be replenished. Joining me on the other side of the stream is Dr. Chantel Elston, who's a researcher for the South African Institute for Aquatic Biodiversity. Good morning, Dr. Chantel, and thank you for joining me.
Good morning, excuse me. Good morning, Mariam. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. No, don't worry about that. It happens. But anyway, why is a day like Ocean's Day so important?
I think it's really important to just keep the oceans on people's minds, especially for people who live inland and who are not necessarily around the ocean every day. It can be quite a disconnect between people and the ocean. And as you introduced the topic, the ocean is vital to every single one of us. So making sure we remain aware of the ocean and we think about some of the issues and we engage with the issues as every single living human being on the planet is really important to combat all of those threats that you mentioned. So a day like World Ocean Day, where it encourages everybody to get involved and everybody to take ownership of the problems that face the ocean, that's really the importance of a day like World Ocean Day.
Mm-hmm. The theme for this year is the ocean, life, and livelihoods. How do we embody this theme and make it part of our lifestyles?
Well, the oceans, provide sustenance and livelihoods and monetary value to so many people on the planet, more than we realize. And so really this concept of life and livelihoods, using the ocean to support the human population, is really a vital one. And specifically here in South Africa, where we have a large focus on something called the blue economy, which is usually using our valuable ocean resources to unlock pieces of the economic puzzle, for food and for tourism and for money. So using the ocean to support humans in a sustainable manner so that we are not taking too much from the oceans and we ensure its sustainability into the future, both for the ocean and for us. That is kind of the embodiment of life and livelihoods and this year's theme.
Mm-hmm. How is South Africa doing when it comes to looking after our oceans? Are we doing enough? And what more needs to be done?
I mean, South Africa is doing pretty well, especially in terms of other African countries. We're definitely leading the way in terms of ocean conservation. Obviously, we're not right at the top. A lot of other countries, such as America and Australia, are doing much better than us. They have much larger resources to input into ocean conservation. But really, we are not doing too bad. A couple of years ago, I think it might have been in 2018, we expanded our marine protected area network. So we are now protecting a larger area of our oceans, which was really a good step in the right direction. Recently, South Africa has just increased the amount of regulation around the shark fishery that we have here in South Africa. So that was, again, another step in the right direction. So the government is taking certain steps to ensure sustainability and ocean conservation, but there is indeed still much that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And what are some concerns that we need to deal with when it comes to conserving our oceans? I mean, last year we saw the oil spill that happened in Mauritius, and that was very detrimental. And what other issues that we need to be concerned about?
Definitely, oil spills are a huge issue. And even beyond that, plastic pollution. I mean, this is the topic that is on everybody's minds, or at least it should be. Pollution and plastic pollution is a huge issue in our oceans. And it not only affects the wildlife in the oceans, but eventually it affects us at the end of the day, because these plastics break down into something called microplastics, which fish actually eat, and it ends up in the fish that we eat. So it's detrimental to our health and detrimental to the oceans. So really tackling this is something that everybody can get involved in. You know, when you think of problems like oil spills, this is not something that your average citizen can solve. But when it comes to things like plastic pollution, everybody can play their part and everybody can make a difference. So looking at changing your individual behavior really comes into fore when it comes to plastic pollution. And not only that, we obviously have other issues with the oceans, such as thinking about what fish we choose to eat. There are some fisheries which are currently unsustainable and they are taking out just too much fish of the ocean. Whereas on the other side of the spectrum, we have some fisheries that are really sustainable and are really well managed. For example, our Cape Hake fishery is one of the best fisheries in the world in terms of sustainability and regulation. So just doing a little bit of homework and thinking about your individual choices, what fish you're eating, by playing your part, you can also make a big difference for the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, we recently had the sardine run. I'm not sure if anyone went there because it was quite cold during that time. But moving forward, what advice can you give to us, especially for us inland? I mean, we only try as best as we can to help out when we go down there, but there's not really much that we can do. So, what advice would you offer?
Definitely. As we said, you know, those who are inland can sometimes seem a bit disconnected from the ocean, but we do need to remember that we are all connected. You know, your actions that you take inland can affect coastal populations. As I said, I don't want to harp on about this, but through plastic pollution, you know, if you litter, those plastic bags can end up in the rivers. These rivers eventually all land up in the ocean, so that gets washed out into the ocean. So even though people may live inland, they can still affect the ocean, and things through climate change, trying to reduce your footprint on the climate. And there's lots of different ways that you can do that. Just very simple things that you can do. And when you do go visit the coast, hopefully everybody gets a chance to visit the coast. Just enjoy the wonderful blue oceans that we have, especially here in South Africa. We have such a diverse variety of oceans and ocean life, and just try and connect with the oceans where you can, and enjoy all that it has to offer, because really it's through that passion and that love and that connection with the ocean that we will choose to protect it at the end of the day.
All right. So thank you so much for your time, Dr. Chantel, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, and same to you.
That was Dr. Chantel Elston. She is a researcher for the South African Institute for Aquatic Biodiversity. And yesterday was World Oceans Day. So what are you doing to conserve and protect the oceans? And we all love going to the ocean when it's holiday season, holiday time. You know, December, everybody's like, I'm going to Durban, I'm going to Cape Town, I'm going to Quebeca, wherever it is that you're going. And we don't really do much. We always turn a blind eye when it comes to pollution. The oceans, the beaches are full of people. They're always packed to the rafters. And obviously with that comes pollution. Do we see anyone doing anything about it? Are we doing anything about it? I haven't seen anyone picking up their litter, their rubbish, and putting it in a plastic bag. I haven't even seen bins around the beach areas. So we have to do something about that. We need to make bins readily available. We need to have cleanup days where we pick up plastics and any other litter that is around the oceans. And like Dr. Chantel said, those of us inland need to be really aware of where and how we dispose of our litter, because if it's thrown in a river, in a stream, it ends up getting washed up to the ocean. And even though we say, oh, but we don't even live next to the coast, but we are contributing to it and we don't even know. So be aware of your litter and where you dispose of it. Plastic takes a very, very long time to break down. And if the fish is ingesting the microorganisms from there, then that is we eat the fish, so we are ingesting all of those chemicals as well. So yeah, take care of the ocean, conserve and play your part for the environment, and if you do that for the environment, it will thank you at the end. All right, it is at 11:43. You are listening to the Mid Morning Talk on Salam Media. Do stay with us.